Now, the last part of the verse is very important too. He's the firstborn over all creation. Firstborn, he's not the firstborn man, that's Adam. But something new happened when Jesus, not when Jesus was born. This is why Christmas doesn't move me like Easter. Because Jesus being born on planet Earth was good for Israel. Jesus being born out of the tomb was good for you. Okay? Jesus being born on planet Earth was good for Israel because he was called Emmanuel, God with us. That was a prophecy given by Isaiah to the Israelites. Jesus coming out of the grave, that's why during his earthly ministry he was to the Jew, to the Jew, to the Jew. But when he came out of the grave, he was to everybody. So I love Easter because on Easter we celebrate the resurrection, the life, the firstborn over all creation. Something new happened in heaven when Jesus came out of the grave. Then everyone who accepts Jesus becomes a new creature, a new creation. And in coming a new creation, we take on the identity of the firstborn. Who's the firstborn? Jesus. We take the identity of Jesus, we become into the same family as Jesus, and this is very important. You are no longer from your first father, Adam. You are from the last Adam, Jesus. So now that you're a believer, you have entered into a dimension by which Jesus, the firstborn of all creation, is your first brother. Can you handle that? Boy, I hope so, because it's really crucial to your Christianity. The reality is you're a new creation in the same way Jesus is a new creation. So just as Jesus came up out of the grave, you have came up out of the grave through your identity with who Christ is. Verse 16. Now watch Paul work this patch. In Him, that's in Jesus, all things were created. Things in heaven, things on earth, things that are visible, things that are invisible. Whether thrones, or powers, or rulers, or authorities. All things have been created through Him. All things have been created for Him. I love the visible, invisible line, because that speaks of two dimensions to me. There's a dimension of the visible. There's a dimension of the invisible. Now this is where some people they think it's getting a little kooky. Because they go, what do you mean, the dimension of the invisible? Are we in the book? He created everything that's visible, and He created everything that's invisible. So whatever's happening behind the scenes, He's already paid for. He's already taken care of. Now there's definitely a realm of the Spirit. We all know that. And in that Spirit realm, it's all been paid for through the cross of Jesus Christ. Now I don't want to get too deep here because we can run down a trail that we'll have to spend an hour teaching on. But I just want to pique your curiosity a little bit. Isn't it interesting that even the spirit realm had to be redeemed? Why didn't God He should have always been in charge over the spirit realm. But even in the spirit realm, He made everything in the visible and the invisible through Jesus. Why do we need to know that it was through Jesus? Because Jesus come to pay a price of redemption. And so Christ paid for everything in both dimensions. So there's nothing in this universe, nothing in the spirit realm, nothing in the natural realm that Jesus hasn't already paid for. So all of our creation reality is through Jesus. I'm really trying to establish today that you're not going to find God by looking at a sunset. You're not going to find God by looking at a stream, by watching a thunderstorm. You're only going to find God in His true form through the redemption power of Jesus Christ. All things made through Him, created through Him and for Him. 17. He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. The old King James uses the word consist or constrict. All things are held together. I love that idea that even down at an atomic level right now, beyond the human eye's ability to see, everything is made up of atoms and they're all held together. And in science, it doesn't make any sense how they can be held together because there's positive and negative that are bound together in the nucleus of an atom. But positive and negative charges are supposed to run opposite of one another. Basic science will tell you positive and negative charges are supposed to flee. One of the first things you learn in science, though, is that the mystery of the nucleus of an atom is that positive and negative charges coexist in the center of an atom. So how do they hold together? I think Paul tapped in Colossians 1:17. In Christ, all things are held together. Stuff that it's not supposed to works because of who Christ is. Things that are not supposed to be are because of who Christ is. It's not supposed to be that you can actually have a change of heart when you meet Jesus over who you used to be. But because of Jesus, things can happen that could never happen before. He's before all, and in Him all things hold together. 18. And He is the head of the body, the church. He's the beginning and the firstborn from among the dead, so that in everything He might have the supremacy. So now He brings it into the realm of the church. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning of everything that we do, the firstborn from among the dead. The firstborn from among the dead. You were just the secondborn, or the thirdborn, or the fourthborn. But you too have been born from the dead. Now your physical resurrection is out in the future, but your spirit man raised up when you met Jesus Christ. He's the head of this body.